people under his leadership who are taking the next step in walking into their destiny. As I said, Paul was just outside of Damascus, and he nearly made the journey there when he has this big encounter with Jesus Christ. Joshua was near Jericho when he had an encounter with Christ. Now look, this is Old Testament. You say, Gordon, I think you got that wrong. No, I didn't. Joshua had an encounter with Christ. You see, Christ, the Son of God, God the Son, did not just begin at that very first Christmas. He's eternally existent. He was around way before that first Christmas. At that first Christmas, he just took on human form. But he has always existed. And so Joshua has this encounter with the eternal existent Christ just outside of Jericho. Here we go. Joshua 5:13-15. Now when Joshua was near Jericho, he looked up, and he saw a man standing in front of him with a sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua, being a brave man, went up to him and asked, "Are you for us or for our enemies?" "Neither," he replied, "but as commander of the army of the Lord I have now come." And then Joshua fell face down to the ground in reverence and asked him, "What message does my Lord have for his servant?" And then the commander of the Lord's army replied, "Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is," what? "Holy." And Joshua did so. Ground is not holy because it's ground. Ground is only holy because of the manifest presence of God. And so you might recall another holy ground one: take off your shoes, for the ground where you were standing on is holy. That was Moses at a burning bush. You know, strangely enough, after that encounter with the manifest presence of God there in Joshua, that Moses moved on from that burning bush. That burning bush wasn't burning anymore, and there wasn't any holy ground anymore than any other holy ground after that encounter. And the same with Joshua. Joshua's here. The commander of the Lord's army is Christ. This is what is known as a Christophany. You'll get theophanies and Christophanies where Christ appears supernaturally, where God appears supernaturally. And you can have an encounter with the manifest presence of God. So Joshua had an encounter with the manifest presence of Christ just outside of Jericho. And he asked a question. He said, "Are you for us or for our enemies with your sword?" Now, and that's probably a good question, but the answer is even better. He said, "I'm not for you or for them." You see, God is not for any army per se, like our army versus the enemy's army, for the Afghanis versus the other folk there that are fighting. He's not for any of them. God is for his purposes. God is for his purposes, and God has a plan and a purpose for you. And he wants to say to Joshua, "I've got a plan and a purpose for you and those who are following you." So Joshua then, he said, "Well, then what message do you have for me?" And what he said to him, and I believe it's relevant for us today, he said, "First I want you to worship God." See, because he said this is holy ground. And where there is holy ground, there is the manifest presence of God, place and time. And today, the presence of God is here. It's holy ground. The building's not special, you know. It's a building and a roof on it, and carpet on the floor, and bricks and stuff, and doors, and hot soup out the back. But today, because the manifest presence of God is here, it's holy ground. And so he said, first, worship. That's the first thing you need to do. And he said the second thing is you're going to receive from God. So they're the two things we want to talk about, and we're going to talk more, and that's Joshua 6:2, the receiving thing. "See, I delivered Jericho into your hands." And we're going to talk about that next week when we talk about taking the city for God. And we're going to, aren't we? Yes. We're going to take the city for God. He's going to tell us how to do that. So an encounter with Jesus will put you in the place to align yourself with God's plan for you. That's what happened to the Apostle Paul, Saul, who became the Apostle Paul. That's what's happening to Joshua. That's what will happen for you. An encounter with Jesus Christ will give you the opportunity to align yourself with the plan of God, with the race that God has marked out for you, with the purposes God has for you, with the story that he wrote for you before you were born. But you need to step into this. It's not as if it's there and it's just going to naturally. You need to step into it. And so in this series of messages, we're now into the fourth one today. Step 1, we said get ready. Step 2, make plans. Step 3, step out in faith. Last week we took a break from that series and we did a thing on hospitality. And if you weren't here to hear that message, you need to download it from our podcast page on our website and go to YouTube. And I don't know if you got my emails through the week, but we got an email from someone way out in Whoop Whoop in the boondocks out near Southern Cross, somewhere 600 k's away, and watched the service on YouTube. And some of you didn't know you were actually on there too, because during the greeting time, unless you particularly asked not to be in there, you're in there, baby, and you're on a whole worldwide scene, right? And not to be outdone, we got another one the next day from someone who hadn't even seen that email, said, I'm 1,600 k's away and I watched your service on YouTube. And of course, we've already had folk from Shropshire and other exotic locations in the UK watching us on YouTube. So last week was about hospitality, but you can get it if you weren't here. And I encourage you to do that. Step 4 is the one we're looking at today. Renew your commitment. This time, renewal. To be confronted with the presence of Jesus. So in Joshua chapter 5, the people Joshua was leading were circumcised. We're not going to do a circumcision ritual here today, so it's okay. As you please. And the renewal of the covenant that is associated with that is spelled out in Joshua 8, and with the heading in my Bible, the covenant renewed at Mount Ebal. You know, I said that about circumcision. Somebody gave a nervous laugh. No, it's okay. The covenant renewed at Mount Ebal, Joshua 8:30. Then Joshua built on Mount Ebal, E-B-A-L, an altar to the Lord. Joshua 8:31. On it, the people offered to the Lord burnt offerings and sacrificial fellowship offerings. We're not doing circumcision, we're not doing burnt offerings today, and I hope the soup isn't one of those. I'm sure it won't be. See, that's old covenant, that burnt offering stuff, right? But we're still doing sacrifices. So I want to move it into a new covenant setting, and here we go, Romans 12:1. Therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is true what? When the music fades and all is stripped away, and I simply come longing just to bring something that's of worth that will bless your heart. I'll bring you more than a song. For a song in itself is not what you have required. You search much deeper within through the way things appear. You're looking into my heart. I'm sorry, Lord, for the thing I've made it. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. They had burnt offerings on the sacrifice. We come to bring a living sacrifice of our body, of our very being. The difference is that the burnt offerings, when they're on the altar, they're going nowhere. Because they're dead. They're sacrificed, they're burnt, they're burning. But you, as a living sacrifice, you can walk off the altar should you choose to do so. You can crawl up, you can slide off the altar, and many people do. We say yes to Jesus, we go through the waters of baptism, we do the whole kit and caboodle, and then something comes in, someone upsets us, someone offends us, someone hurts us, we get attracted by something or other else that we shouldn't have, and we slide off the altar and walk away from the altar. Because a living sacrifice can do that. But this morning, we're back at the altar. Just as in Joshua's day, we're here for this purpose, to renew our commitment to Almighty God. Now here's what happened. I just love this, guys. This is what happened when they renewed their commitment. Joshua 5:9. And then the Lord said to Joshua, today I have rolled away the reproach of Egypt from you. He's rolled it away. And it's interesting, in other translations, that reproach, just in case you didn't know what that big word meant, it's called disgrace in the CEV, it's called shame in the NLT, and that's the kind of thing. The reproach, the shame, the disgrace. What he's talking about back in Egypt, the reproach, the shame, the downtroddenness, and how that applies to us is anything that you've done that you shouldn't have done, anywhere you've been that you shouldn't have been, anything that's been done to you by someone or other else that shouldn't have been done to you, any reproach on you that has brought you down and been a burden on your shoulders, God has rolled it away from these people when they made the recommitment. Strange enough, he called the place where they were rolled away. Gilgal means rolled away. He said, I'm going to call this place rolled away. And this could be your rolled away place today. Whatever it is, that any burden, any stuff, any reproach, any disgrace, any shame, God wants to roll away. And that's my prayer today, that today will be a rolling away from many people here. The reproach will be gone. Whatever it is, the burden that's hanging onto you because of what you did, where you've been, or what someone else has done to you, let God roll it away today. All the insecurities, all the shame that may have come in, the pessimism, the phobia, the negativity, just feeling down, that God will roll it away. Here's the thing. When you first meet Jesus, He gives you so much energy and He lifts you up and you're so glad you think nothing will ever drag you down again. Right? And neither should it. But see, once you've met Jesus but you have fallen away from Him, that vitality that He brought to your life, it is gone until you renew your commitment to Him and then have a fresh encounter with Him, and then He will roll all of your burdens away. And today, that's my prayer, that today will be a rolling away of those burdens. See, when you initially renew your commitment to Him and have a fresh encounter with Him, your burdens will be gone, they'll be gone, and you will have a fresh and wonderful vitality that will lift you above the daily grind. Isn't that what we all want? Yeah. It's way above the daily grind.